Sarah had always loved solitude. When she found a small abandoned cabin deep in the Appalachian Mountains, she knew it was where she belonged. The air was crisp, the towering trees a protective embrace, and the silence a gift. The locals warned her, "You don't go out at night. You don't look out the window. And if you hear someone calling your name, you don't answer." She laughed it off. Myths, folklore, and superstitions meant to keep people in line. But the moment she stepped foot in that cabin, she felt something, like unseen eyes watching from the shadows. The first few nights were quiet, except for the usual sounds of nature, but by the fourth night, things began to shift. It started with whispers. At first she thought it was the wind weaving through the trees, but no, these were voices, soft, unintelligible murmurs right outside her window. Every time she checked, there was nothing there. She told herself she was being paranoid. The isolation was getting to her, but the feeling of being watched grew stronger, crawling beneath her skin. Then came the tapping. She decided to record herself, not for evidence, no, just for peace of mind. She propped up her phone in the corner of her tiny cabin, facing the window, and hit record. The tapping came again, light, deliberate, not the chaotic scratching of a branch, but the rhythm of someone knocking. She grabbed her flashlight and stepped onto the porch. The woods stretched out before her, black and infinite. The air was still heavy. "Hello?" Her voice barely carried. Silence. Then, from the tree line, a shape, pale, still, watching. Sarah's stomach dropped. The figure was too far to make out any features, but she knew it wasn't human. Something about it was wrong. She backed up into the house, locking the door. Her breath came in short, panicked bursts. She turned to check her phone, which had been recording the entire time. She played the video. At first, nothing, just her pacing, talking to herself. Then, just before she stepped outside, the camera caught something she hadn't noticed. A hand pressed against the window. Long fingers. Gaunt. Gray skin stretched tight over bone. Her blood ran cold. She had been in the room the entire time, and something had been watching her from just inches away. Sleep was impossible. Every creak of the cabin made her flinch. Every gust of wind sounded like whispers. She wanted to leave. She needed to leave. But then came the laughter, a low, distorted chuckle from outside the window. She grabbed her phone, hands shaking, and started recording again. "If someone is out there, I have a gun," she lied. The laughter stopped. Then her own voice, whispering back at her. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. "Sarah!" It came from the other side of the door. "Sarah, let me in!" The voice was hers, but it wasn't coming from her. Tears burned in her eyes. She backed away slowly, heart hammering against her ribs. The door handle twisted. She bolted to the back of the cabin, locking herself in the tiny bedroom. The phone still recorded, the screen shaking in her trembling hands. Then the doorknob of the bedroom door rattled, and the whispers, they were inside now. With one last burst of courage, she turned the phone's camera to face the door. The last thing she saw before everything went dark, a face, her face, pale, grinning, watching, and then silence. The next morning, the cabin stood empty. The only sign that Sarah had ever been there was her phone, lying in the middle of the floor, the screen still on, a video still playing. But the video didn't show Sarah. It showed the woods, and, in the distance, something walking away,